English is, depending on who is asking, might or might not be my first language. So, first of all, what the hell is archetypes? Why was I super or slightly super uncomfortable when I was listening to the podcast Archetypes? Was it because Meghan Markle, who is the host of the podcast, is like a real life princess talking about world problem? Or was it because the whole premise of the show was destroy the patriarchy and the internalized misogyny in me was just screaming no? Or it's just because, she's someone that is living in a social class that a lot of people might not be able to attain, but then she's talking kind of on behalf of a lot of people when she's supposed to not be able to relate to that bunch of people. Or maybe it was simply because she was just speaking facts, and when people talk facts, people get uncomfortable. That's why a lot of people react. And there was a lot of reactions to this podcast for sure. It was so polarizing online. Let's get into Archetypes by Meghan Markle and talk about a few other conversations that's connected to it. A Swiss psychiatrist and psychoanalyst called Carl Jung is very well known for various researches about the human mind, both the conscious and the unconscious. He created this analytical psychology, and he is very well known for different theories about the collective unconscious, the psychological types, and also archetypes. So according to him, archetypes are universal inborn models of people, behaviors, and personalities that play a role in influencing human behavior. There are 4 types of archetypes according to Carl Jung. The persona. The persona is how we present ourselves, all the different social masks that we wear when presenting ourselves to the world. According to Carl Jung, the persona archetype allow people to adapt to the world around them and fit in to the society in which they live. However, becoming too closely identified with this archetype can lead people to lose sight of their true selves. The shadow. The shadow is the archetype that consists of repressed ideas, weaknesses, desires, instincts, and shortcomings. According to Carl Jung, this archetype is often described as the darker side of the psyche, representing wildness, chaos, and the unknown. The anima or animus. The anima is the feminine image in the male psyche, and the animus is the male image in the female psyche. Basically, the estrogen in the man and the testosterone in the woman. I'm just playing. Carl Jung suggested that the discouragement of men exploring their feminine aspects and women exploring their masculine aspects serve to undermine psychological development. The self. The self is an archetype that represents the unified unconsciousness and consciousness of an individual. Carl Jung believed that disharmony between the unconscious and the conscious mind could lead to psychological problems. Being aware of the conflicts and accommodating them in the conscious awareness is an important part of individuation process. I wanted to be sure that the archetypes that was used in this podcast is the one from sociology more than psychology, but I kind of found out that the both of them are like sharing the same school of thought basically. So basically we all have this innate consciousness or unconsciousness or this innate model that really helps us to live our day-to-day life. And it depends on how people decide to twist this. They can use it in different ways. For example, a lot of people might decide to twist it and make it look like you have the DNA to do something that you're kind of basically socialized to do. And other people might, you know how they play you're a female, you should do this, you're a male, you should do that. So he is actually bringing, which is like a good part of this whole archetype thing that I liked when I was reading it, was the anima and the animus. So it's like females have innate male characteristics and males have innate female characteristics. This is something that we also know from biology, right? From estrogen and testosterone. You just have lower level of testosterone if you're a female, and if you're a male, you have lower levels of estrogen. And if you're a female, in fact, when you become older and you get to the menopausal state, you begin to lose a little bit of that estrogen, and you have more testosterone. And then the males, you see males that are in their 50s crying more or being more soft, I guess, because they are beginning to have this more estrogen in them. Basically, I heard that. I don't know if it's the way I'm actually being socialized right now to understand those emotions that are showing. And I don't even know if I'm being socialized to think that emotions is just because of the excess of estrogen. This is the whole issue, right? We don't know if some things are just innate or some things are us being socialized to believe those things are what they are. So now coming back to the topic of conversation, which is Meghan Markle. She obviously, in the second episode, I think, or the first one, but that's what I thought was the first one, and that's the one I kind of listened to fully. She is talking with Serena Williams, and the main topic of conversation for them was ambition, or is ambition. You know, a lot of people think ambition is a male trait, and if you're a female, you should not be as ambitious. I can relate to that. I can definitely relate to that. From just, I feel like sometimes I have to defend the things that I want to do and make them seem like they're more humanitarian than maybe capitalistic in nature, because it will make more sense that you're just doing something for the world, or you need to kind of have an explanation behind your own ambition if you're a female, I guess, than if you're a male. Because if you're a male, the world has kind of already dictated what your ambition looks like or how it should be. You know, you should be ambitious, you should get money so you can have a good wife, or you can have a beautiful wife and have a good family, basically, put your children in good schools. So men don't need to explain too much why they're ambitious, but women have to explain why they are ambitious. Because even me personally, sometimes I'll sit down and I'm thinking, why the hell am I doing too much? I don't think I need to do all of these things if at the end of the day the world does not even see the result of my ambition as, yeah, chairworthy. Why am I doing this much? If all that I'm going to do and bring to the table is just secondary, it's just plan B, it's just maybe if the guy's money does not work, and the guy is not really a partner, it could be your dad, you know, it could be your brother, it could be any male in your life. Normally your money is kind of like a backup, or the result of your ambition is usually like a backup plan. You know, depending on where you're coming, women are not a monolith. So I could be talking and you're not relating, but a lot of people will be able to relate if you come from a certain type of background, I guess. So I don't remember ever personally feeling the negative connotation behind the word ambitious until I started dating my now husband. And apparently ambition is a terrible, terrible thing for a woman, that is, according to some. So since I've felt the negativity behind it, it's really hard to unfeel it. I can't unsee it either in the millions of girls and women who make themselves smaller, so much smaller on a regular basis. This is the quote that got people going gaga, you know. So I've seen two types of responses, and I think both of them are just really a response to the other one. The first type of response is the people really blasting this woman because she's obviously black but not really black. She's white passing, she's almost white. In fact, a lot of people don't know she's black, and she just, in a way, to those people, should not be speaking on matters that concerns patriarchy and race. And then there's this other group of people that are really coddling her and really maybe clapping for her some word of acknowledging her privilege. People are like, you asked her to acknowledge her privilege and she's doing that right now, so why are you pressed? There's this thing that's going on right now. If you've noticed it, let me know. But people come out to talk about social issues because we're living in a time where the media is liberal. So many people just kind of have to follow or go with that media, that liberal kind of persona to be able to exist on the internet. So you see a lot of people, they'll come out and they'll tell you, hello, I know I'm white, I know I'm privileged, I know I belong to the higher class, and I do acknowledge all of that. Yeah, I've acknowledged it. So let's talk about the problems of the world. It's like you're doing the barest minimum, and I think people keep on asking of people the barest minimum, and people just come out just to say one thing and everything is gone, and it's like there's no problem again with the world. Jay-Z said something like they used to be called the N-word and all that, and I realized that a lot of people just require the white American people to not say the N-word. It's like the barest minimum thing. To ask them, the only thing you need to not do, not to be a racist person, is to not say the N-word. And this is the same thing people are asking of people of the higher class right now. It's just the only thing you need to do is to just acknowledge that you are privileged. how does that help anybody? I think, yes, self-awareness is first, but I don't even think people are coming from a place of self-awareness anymore when they're acknowledging their privileges. It's probably just because right now this is what they should do. It's a media thing. You acknowledge your privilege and you go ahead and rant about the problem of the world. Because there was a part of the podcast that she kept on saying, who is Meghan Markle, kept on saying, yeah, Serena Williams, we went through this hardship together. And I look at these two women. Sorry, I'm not trying to bring no one down, but these two women would not have gone through similar experiences, even if they were twins. Which means that even if they had the same parents, if they had the same environmental background growing up, they would not have the same type of experiences when it comes to how the world perceived them. So she was trying so hard to be like, I can relate to what you go through, Serena. And Serena just kept on being a queen. Like, she just kept on saying, yeah, I've grown, I'm compassionate and everything. I felt like Meghan Markle was putting ambition too much on Serena, and Serena kept on kind of said one time that she was a very competitive person. And I love that. I want people to be more competitive than maybe ambitious. Because even myself, I think I personally kind of struggle with the word ambitious. So I don't really use it for myself. I try, because when I use it for myself, I feel like it has this negative connotation too. So when people are like, what are you trying to do? Why are you trying to, study more? Why are you trying to do this more? Sometimes I just get mad and be like, okay, I'm so greedy. Is that okay? I really cannot tell people that it's ambition, because ambition just feels somehow. So I guess what Meghan was trying to do was to remove that that negative connotation to the word ambition. But for me, it just felt like it's still a privileged thing to do, which is weird. I don't want to feel that way. I just feel like anytime I watch Black American media, right? There's this thing that happens. They complain a lot, and it's so okay, because you have your space. You should write your story. You should tell your story, right? It's not their fault that they are at the forefront of the media right now. But whenever I watch them, sometimes I keep on thinking, like, why is this a problem, or why is this a point of contention for them? Like, why is this a problem? And then I always take it back home with me. I just look at it and I'm like, this is not some DNA thing. This is not something that you have or you don't have. And this is not what you're just walking on the road and you just decide to pick up, right? It's a lot of curation. It's a lot of nurturing that puts you in a place that you feel like, yeah, I want to go to this game next. And then you do the game and be like, oh, wow, I'm actually good in this. What people do here where I'm at is I'm in Korea right now. Like, I'm in Korea anyways. I'm just saying what people do is, for example, when their kids are like 10, when their kids 7, they put them in sport, they put them in swimming, they put them in math, English, they put them in piano lesson, cello, guitar lesson, everything basically when you're a child. And then as you grow, then you begin to think, okay, I think I prefer to do math. I think I like to swim. Or you begin to think, I think I like to play guitar. You just kind of form your own thing from all the things you're exposed to. And from there, you can kind of like pursue something, right? So it's kind of like a privileged thing to think about. And when I rule the whole route, really was the English. I don't speak English, right? The whole world decided that Nigerians are not English speakers, so let's just go with the flow. When you bring it back home, I feel like I take it to a place where I actually can put it in a kind of context where many people kind of just go to school and maybe go to their say Bible study or Islamic study or Arabic study. They don't really get exposed to a lot of things where they kind of form a certain type of passion that can lead to some ambitious push in that. So for her to just be like, ambition is a good thing. It's a sweet thing. It's a lovely thing. I can see I can see what she's saying. I can see what she's saying, because obviously I'm sitting in a place right now where, thank God, alhamdulillah, a lot of things are better. But there's a whole lot of people, and that's why I keep on saying this world just decide who the weak person is, or the media kind of keeps deciding who the weak people are, and keep on shining lights on them when they are not actually the weakest people in the world. When I was talking about all the different archetypes that women are affected by, and just in terms of if a man is ambitious, for example, that is so celebrated. But if you look at a woman like yourself, who I think is incredibly ambitious, and that's a testament to who you are as a person. But that's also why you've become so successful. When you hear the word ambition, do you think of it in a negative or a positive way? Serena. Often women are definitely put in these different boxes that we are ambitious, or when we do have goals, or when we reach our goals, it's a negative connotation on how we reach our goals. Was Serena making sense here? I don't know what Serena was saying basically. But Serena is like a sweetheart. I never really heard her talk that much, so I don't know what she's saying here, honestly. I don't know what she's saying. Was she responding to the question? She's a sweet person. I liked her from the interview, and that's why I just really wanted to hear Serena talk. Meghan, stop interrupting her. I wanted to hear Serena talk, and that's why when I was going through diverse emotions concerning this topic, I started asking myself questions like, so what are you saying, Halima? Are you trying to say she shouldn't do the podcast? I'm like, hell nah. She should do the podcast, but I feel like I just wanted her to just have a chit chat with Serena. Let's hear Serena talk. This is like one of the first podcasts I feel like I've heard of Serena, and that's why I just feel like, please, I want to hear her talk about different things. I just want to hear her talk about her life. I'm this kind of person, and I feel like that's how human beings are. It's nothing special about me. But human beings are people that learn by watching, learn by stories, I guess, or learn by experiencing things by themselves. So if you're telling me, be ambitious, I'm just looking at you like, whoa, sister, what are you saying? But if you tell me a story and I'm just like, whoa, it's going to trigger some emotions in me, like, oh wow, this is a nice story, this happened, oh my god, you went to this place, I should probably try to go to this place too. So I wanted them to just have a chit chat really, and just share experiences about their lives, not really surrounding it around a keyword that is not kind of fully fleshed and fully peeled the layers, peeled onion the thing. She tried her best, I guess. The whole crew, they try to bring some people on there that are sort of professionals to talk about it, but it's just like, what are you saying? I don't even understand what you're saying. It was really heavily created for sure, but I wanted them to just have a chit chat. The same thing with the, Mariah Carey thing. I just wanted them to talk, share their experiences, laugh. It would have been a lot more fun, and I would decide to pick the ambition I want to pick from there. You know what I mean? I would have picked by myself. Tell me a story. I'll decide what to pick from it. How about that? The double standard. And look, there's something that happens in being archetyped that's really dehumanizing. So it's coming to a point where I'm thinking, do I really understand what archetype mean? Let me know your thoughts in the comments about this whole thing, and I'll see you in my next video.